I want to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom. I want to thank Torah Anytime, Kavashgacha Pratis. And I want to thank Kol Aloshin. Now, over Yom Tov, a lot of things happen. There are a lot of shuls that are half empty. Everyone's running to the big ones, to the yeshivas. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Now, a lot of people, a lot of rabbanim, a lot of killers feel a little bit shortchanged. Look how few people we have. Everyone's leaving us. Those are the people that were matzliach over Rosh Hashanah for sure. They're broken. Nobody wants me. Everyone's abandoning me. Now for sure you are zeicha to the best of you, and everyone should thank you. The people in the big places, they should go over to you and all say thank you, because you are the reason for all their success. Because you suffered for them. We all work together. The Eibishter gives different assignments to different people. And the bigger they are, the better they are, the bigger Nesayah they have. The big people in Klal Yisrael get big Nesayahs. We desperately need them. What they did for Klal Yisrael, all those Rabbanim whose congregants have left them to go to the yeshiva, I don't blame them. Again, I repeat, I don't blame them. Go to the yeshiva. You know what my Rebbe said about going to yeshiva? Just go, well, I have two psukim about this. Kibitzer Rebbe told my parents, go to the place where they need you. And my Rebbe Rabbi said differently. He said, yeshiva, I don't know if the yeshiva was yeshiva. You're standing next to malachim. How could you resist going to a holy yeshiva? And Yom Narayim, that's where you go. There's a meiser with their Baron Kotler, where the Bacha had to leave the base medish to help another Bacha. Baron said, for sure you have to do that. Sometimes Chesed, you know, Reb Gershon, Reb Nekritz was sick for many months, I understand. And he couldn't come to yeshiva. You want to shut shut it off. He couldn't come to the yeshiva. And Reb Gershon gave up his whole Novandig, which he loved, his everything. He gave up to be alone with Reb Nekritz and nurse him back to health. And he gave up everything. And he dafka did it. He probably could have gotten other people to do it. Reb Gershon was a powerhouse. He was needed in the yeshiva. He didn't care. Reb Gershon ran to do what he didn't want to do. He ran to do, I want Ratzon Hashem, not my Ratzon. You know what a happy life a person like that has? I want Ratzon Hashem, not I. He wanted to be in yeshiva for sure. It was his life breath. He's out in the hook, in your huppets, together with Rav Nekritz. It was never sick. He needed help. Someone should look after him. You give away for others. That's what I was taught. The Kapitchins Rebbe. And I want to tell you, when I was in a small place on Yom Narayim, I felt like for sure I'm going to be Zeicha. Why? Because every inch and every second that I'm here standing here, it's a chesed, it's a chesed, it's a chesed. I'm doing mitzvahs non-stop. My very being there is one big chunk of goodness, of Rachmanis. You're asking for Rachmanis all Yom Tov. You're giving it left and right. You've got to make it. Nothing like giving yourself away for others. Come join me. Giving yourself away, the more the better. Do something you don't like so much. Avraham Avinu by the Maisa Kedah, he gave himself away, Avraham Avinu. By the Maisa Kedah, he gave himself away. And we have to be like him. We don't just talk about the story. You know that there's a medrash that just before he started cutting, he started crying like a baby. Imagine the greatness of Avraham. Going against your nature. Hashem Dafka gave Avraham an assignment that he couldn't handle. Because he was full of love. He waited 100 years for this Yingala, for his Yitzhak. And now he has to shecht him. Outrageous. Avram Avinu. You know, there's a Chazal that says that he was on the way to the Akedah and he heard Malachim will tell you, Avram, you better not do that. There's no such thing, Hashem. In Yiddishkeit, you don't shecht kids. He started getting all sides and all fronts. You're doing wrong. You're a tzayach. You're this, you're that. You know what he said? Rabbi, they say, used to repeat this story. Bani bitumi eleich. The three magic words. I'm a tomim. I do as I'm told in kultu. Don't bother me. Don't give me ideas. No, I want to tell you, he was given a sign that was so against him. Yitzchak wasn't given such an assign. Yaakov wasn't given such an assign. Only Avram, who was so full of love for Sdaim, he had room in his heart for Sdaim, he davened for them. He's given an assign. Go shecht your most beloved son. The extreme opposite. I know in a certain family where one of the family members suffers terribly. This fellow loves. You got to do things right. We visit. We go to each other's chasana. You got to be proper. That's the way he was raised. And he thrives off that. Got himself a wife who couldn't care less. Perfect shidduch. She laughs at the whole business. She never shows up. She has no interest. She embarrasses him in front of everybody. Just perfect for him. Just what he always loved. A person that's exact opposite of him. Then I know another younger man who hates modern stuff. Oh, he doesn't like, goes sugar with that. He's a real fafrumta guy. He's frummer than, you don't know how frum he is. He's from all the frummies in his class. He was voted 5-star fafrumta guy. He is from, his b'dikas chametz is a 10-hour affair. He's from like crazy. He grew a beard when he was way before all his friends, and there's payas so longer than, and it's from, he's there. And he hates modern, anything that's a little cool, he goes berserk. He hates that. Guess what happened to him? Get himself a wife that's super cool. He got himself the coolest wife in the world. And she makes him tight with sugar. She goes out of his mind. Just perfect shidduch. Real cool lady. Here's a guy that's very money. Got to watch what you're spending. He gets himself a wife who laughs him in the face. Don't give me this, give me that money. And she goes, spends it, he goes berserk. He can't stand fancy things. And she buys the whole store she buys. She makes him tight with sugar. You want to know how many people have exactly these type of things? Everybody's getting opposites attract. Just what you always hated. Like, here's a gift for you. Sameach the samach. Sameach. People get exactly what they dislike. Surprise, surprise. Just all his life, the guy had a campaign against a certain type. Boom, he gets a shidduch, exactly that type. Now, with kids, we have the same thing. Oh, boy. There's so much of that. You know, I will tell you, it's a little painful sometimes. This guy was a star, and he was the best guy in yeshiva. And wherever he went, people ate out of his hands. Some people said that between him and the Rosh Yeshiva, he was better, even as a bacher. He was a whiz. He knew everything. And he was a little bit, he's human. Nice guy, very nice fellow. But he sort of looks down at guys that, you couldn't figure out that thesis? No. I once had such a mice with a guy. Oh, boy. He screamed. They were given a program. A certain title. They were trying to get the guys to move and learning 2 blot a day. And one guy was way ahead of everybody in his kitchen. And the guys were sitting there. And they were struggling. And they had to go down from 2 blot to 1 blot. And for 1 blot, some went unarmed. Because they want to know they were young guys. They weren't so experienced in learning. and too blah drove them crazy. So one day the guy gets up in front of everybody and he says, "You can't do too blah. What are you guys, nincompoops? You don't know how to learn to save your life. You guys, this is ridiculous. You can't do too blah Gemara. It's a joke." And he was a very good head, this fellow. Well, here goes. One of these types who, when they were younger, they used to speak things like that, you know. I'm from the good guys. You're out of it. You don't know how to learn to save your life. Or you're not from enough. Or you're not rich enough. Or you're not nice enough. I got friends. Oh, you're one of those types that, you know, not too many friends around. Probably you don't have a good personality. You know, now, what happens to the same guy that he used to always look down? He has a son that is the winner. His son makes up for all his good talents that he had. They never thanked Hashem enough. And his son is the worst kid in the class. And he goes berserk. And he's screaming at his son. And his wife defends him. What you are for the poor kid. He doesn't have your head. But how he can't figure out the Tashvis? Is there something wrong with him? And he's stuck with that kid. And he's got to suffer with him because Hashem gives you exactly what you don't like. That's what you're getting. Surprise, surprise. You know, a lot of people out there that exactly what they're not good at. You see that? They get it. Because everything is an asaya. Avraham Avinu had no problems. You know everything's a test. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to get involved in details, but there are people who don't like different types. I don't like those. These. You're from those. He's not going to say anything. He's polite, but they're not. Me, my chabra. You know what reminds me with the two Kotzkes? The two Kotzke Chassidim? You got together, they said, listen, let's face it, the whole world is crazy, except for Klal Yisrael. That's Pashut. And of Klal Yisrael, Pashut, the frum Jews, the Freien Nebuchadnezzar, and of the frum Jews, of course the Chassidim are way ahead of everybody. Chassidim, El Chayidin, Chassidim. And of the Chassidim, of course it's Kotzk. We're real. Kotzk was taka real. Kotzk was similar to Novhardok. We're real. Kotzk is the best. And of Kotzk, it's our base medrash, our town. Then he said our base medrash. And of our base medrash, who do you think are the best guys? Us two. And of us two, you know who's better? I am. That's the story. It's a joke. Anyway, process of elimination. Everybody's, except for me. Now listen to this. It's a true story. Some people are very against other shittas. Some people are not so opinionated. Some people should be more opinionated. The reason why they're not opinionated is because they don't have enough courage, or they're scared off by other shittas. He's scared off from these, scared off from those, you know. It's scared off. So, and therefore, I'm the type that's, I like everybody. I know a lot of people like that. I hold from everybody. The problem is, jack of all trades and expert at nothing. You're one of those that can do everything but Salamais. Anyway, a person like this, very often what he's missing is a shtickle. Be a somebody. What do you, I hold from him. What about you? One of my big chassidim got on a plane. I don't think he needed a plane for this one. He went to a far off place, to a kettle. It was my encouragement. But when he finally, I pushed these things a lot. Go out. Calls me up. He's there for 1 month. He was there with his wife to get some chizik. They were really apprehensive. The night before they flew off, they were apprehensive. How are we going to manage? He's there. He went there after 1 month. He calls me up, and he said he is in a place where a new kale, and he's new and strange, and he would have been a little bit, but he remembered Mandel told him, no another psula. Don't say I'm not right. None of that. They asked him to do something, I'm doing it. He's there 3 weeks, 4 weeks the most. He's taking over the whole place. The place is madly in love with him. Because he decided, I'm in charge around here. You want to know which koyach it is? I was once on a plane. And there were stewards around me, male stewardesses. And I wanted them, and they ignored me. They ignored me. And they're busy with this, with that one. So I sat down, I had my book. This is not covered out Torah. I don't like what they're doing. There are a bunch of zeros. I still have it. I find it's my book. They're all full of baloney. They all need me, and they're all Avodai Haim. Asheret, you guys aren't worth a penny. You need me. I was started off very apologetic. Could I please have another Pepsi, please? He doesn't even hear me. Then the other I'd like to have this, and the guy didn't know I was there. And I'm there. I wasn't white yet, but I was pretty chashiv, gray, and I'm a chashiv guy. And they totally ignored me until I decided to take action. So I wrote down in my book, here I am, by far the Rashke Bahag of the whole day. And by far, no one on this plane comes to my dalam. A lot of from people there, but, me. And here these stewards there, Nabuch guys. As soon as I finished writing, I had 3 of them running over to me. Can we help you, Rabbi? Can we help you? Suddenly they became, it's all in your head. I tell you, the first time it happened, I saw how you have a kayach. This guy's thriving. He went to an out-of-town place. A young guy, he just got married. He's taking over the place. A chutzpah. Mandel taught him how to have a chutzpah. He just comes in there, and just because he decided, Mandel said, no, another psula. And they're eating out of his hands. What's happened to me? See, now, in relationships, I want to tell you, it might be an idea, but there's some true. There's a guy that used to ignore me. It was like, he was doing big things, this fellow. He was connected with the God Lador, sort of, let's say, right? And he was like, you couldn't get to him. And I felt a little bit like, I didn't even look at it. I didn't say, I started thinking, I love that guy. That's all I did. The guy he was standing across the street by Kel Shimshon. And as I'm thinking, he walks across the street. Oh, Mendel, I got to tell you what. And ever since then, he bothers me with words forever. I can't get rid of him. But come on and put him upon him. I decided I love him, and that's what happened. I did this with a gvir. There's one gvir in Lakewood. I was the kid. Today, like, I can get 10,000. Today I'm high in my drag already. But those days, I never milked the guy for more than $100. To me, more than $100 is like beyond my scope. Until this guy was in the $1,000 mark. And I wasn't used to them. I walked in, I barely knew the guy. I sat there, someone else was there. And I said, I love this guy. To myself. I didn't say a word to him. I was too quiet. Those days I was still a quiet type. Remember I told you I used to be the other type. So I walked, I says, I love this guy. For the rest of this guy has given me thousands of dollars. And he once told me, but Pam Molly, I don't know why I like you. Kamayim, Panim, upon him. think. Do it to your wife. Hey, you want shalom bayis? Come home. I like my Rebbitzin. She's so nice. So, even though she just screamed at me yesterday in front of my shviga. She embarrassed me in front of my shver, my shviga, my wife. And she's terrible. But I'm thinking, I like that lady. You know what happens to her? Suddenly, she turns into a new person. I told you the story about a real story. 12 years ago. What happened in Kalamazoo, Michigan? The guy's wife was a witch. I told you what happened. You heard that one, no? The witch is a great one. She was a real narcissistic, he called her. My wife is narcissistic. By the way, whenever I hear that, I suspect the guy. I says, yeah, okay, what else did you do wrong? I don't like any criticism of the other guy who say, I didn't hear the other party. Well, who knows what they're going to say? You know, usually they sound the same. You have no idea how similar people. Rather, in his case, I'm starting to believe that maybe he has a point. I don't know. I still never spoke to her. My wife is narcissistic. You know what narcissistic means? A fancy way, whatever. Everyone's narcissistic nowadays. I mean, any guy with a shalom bayis problem, first thing he says, I think my spouse is narcissistic. It's over. I know a guy, he's still not divorced because I take credit. When I get involved, there are no divorces so fast. I don't like them. Anyway, sometimes you have to, but not so easy by me. And the guy keeps calling me. You know what they did to him? They branded him, he's narcissistic. As soon as they did that, the whole family did it. You know, she's got a lot of support. She has good brothers who are very caring. You know, half of them are divorced, I think. They're very caring, loving brothers. And this happened about 20 years ago. So, and her narcissistic wife. And, so this one, what she did was, now I spoke to the brother-in-laws to make peace. I spoke to them. You do anything about it? He says, it's over. Our sister read the book of what narcissism is. And Mamela, he's this and that, and he's not marriage material. It's got to go. Because the book, you haven't seen enough yourself? No, well, the book says. So the book convinced them how cuckoo the guy is. That's something. I have a few cases like that. They read the book, that means you're a puzzle. I mean, read the book. That's why I don't like these books. Anyway, this.
Joe says that all shalom bayis problems go from that.
For what?
They read the books on.
Read the books. There you go. I'm going for Shalima. Now I want to tell you something about the this narcissistic case. Boy, did I have a ball with him. I says, I want you to be machnia to your wife. Give in. Because I'm always suspicious. You know, somebody has, too much of that. Guess what happened? He called me up. He had a mapecha. He came 5 minutes late. You heard this already? You heard it. Did you hear this one yet? You all heard it? Chazara? Came 5 minutes late. The wife almost killed him. I'm not making supper. The kids, and he says, you're right. I don't deserve supper. And he meant it. He wasn't playing games. Usually he used to play games. And then all the kids, he has teenage kids, they all stuck up for mommy, for tati. How do you do that? You're a wife, that's what you do? And he says, quiet children. Mother is the boss in the kitchen. If she says I don't deserve, I don't deserve. I agree with mommy. And he meant it. As soon as he did that, she went berserk. She started doing everything for him. So that's what Rabbi Yeshua says. You want to win a tug of war? Let go. And the other guy is going to go flying. You're going to win. I saw Rabbi Gershon give in to somebody. The Vatican's believe first give in. We'll talk later. First given. Oh, you're right. Oh, of course. Oh, sure. People want to be heard. Sometimes they get so carried away with being right. In the end, you do what you want anyway. But as long as they heard that they're right enough times. I'm going to tell you a Marduk about getting depressed is a very, very good mahalach in life. I believe in getting in depression. I believe in depression. I believe in it. It's a very, very healthy way to get what you want without doing anything. Easy. How? Listen to this. I had in my class 2 different boys, different years, no connection. The single most depressed kids I ever had. They were officially depressed. Like, you didn't have to ask questions. Oh, just look at them. Both of these boys, 2 different, they both told me the same thing. You know, when I get depressed, you know how much attention I get every time I get depressed? My parents go berserk. And I get such covered for that, for being depressed. So it's a good business. Be depressed. The world will look, oh, what's Nebuch? They'll have pity on you. You'll feel sorry for yourself. Let's get depressed. It's a lot of fun. Zai depressed, 2 different kids. And I had another kid in my class. Should be a schus. His father. Father was a Tyree. You hear this one? I had a kid in my class who couldn't stop smiling. Azizkeit. How you doing? Come inside. Chushev Yidin. After the fast, now you're going to be zech. I want to congratulate everybody for today's fast. To me, it was such a machaya. I feel a day off from food. Such an oil off my shoulders. In America, there's a hard life. He has to eat 3. No, yeah. Meat goes with potatoes. You got to eat. No. Doesn't go good. You have to eat together with this or that or else. Anyway, let's get moving. I have beer. If somebody want to get beer, it's in it's in the fridge. In the fridge. It's in the back on top. On top. To the right side. Go inside, give a knock. Go back on top to the right side. I want my beer. I had enough of this schnapps. Anyway. Bella, let him in. Let him in, Bella. He's harmless. He's safe. So it gets nervous. Anyway, what was I talking about? Where am I up to? No? These kids are holding cup. There's a future waiting for us. So you kid my class, we've finished that one already. Oh, this one. This is Smiley. This kid, Azizkeit, should be a Swiss for his father. He told me, if I get depressed, you know what my father does? Smack! Don't you get depressed? He told me, the kid. And he's a normal, happy kid. Right at the top, the right side, in the back. Back. See, there's a bottle there. Hope I'm right. Beer, yeah. Maybe I mixed, maybe I noticed it after I had a few shots. Anyway, so the father smacks him up. Simplified life. There was a Shegitz that he was reading. It's a true story. The Shegitz was reading about the Shegitz was reading about a psychologist. This guy's he has a temper. It's fine. I'll live without it. I see old Williamsburg is good enough. So what did he do? Thanks for your efforts. Now what did he do, this guy? This guy said like this. Everybody's working on anger. So the therapist thinks, I just spoke to somebody who saw a therapist. $1,000. Did you hear that? And the therapist wants to see a younger man. He's having trouble with his wife. So the therapist said, $1,000. I just heard it. And he said, and by the way, next time I want you again, this time with your wife. Now he didn't end up, but I'm ending for him so I can collect another 1,000. You know, he did zero for the guy. He did mamish nothing. He just complicated him. The guy called me up crying. I says, why'd you go to me? I don't charge. I don't take nothing. Anyway. Chaim Teva B'Shalom B'Shalom. I'm going to start with this. Let's go. Enjoy, old one.